Welcome to Twisted Pines. Today we're going to talk about chainsaws. What I have out here today is my three workhorses. This is a MS170, an MS291, and an MS661. We're going to talk about the weights, horsepower, the costs, and whatnot, so you can make a good decision on which one will work best for you. I know it's weird, I got three of them, but for what I'm doing on my property, I need three of them. Maybe, actually may need one more, and in between the 291 and the 661, and we'll talk about that at the end of this. So, we'll talk about first is this MS170. It's a 30.1 cc's, 1.7 horsepower, 8.6 pounds, and you can put a 12 to 16 inch bar on it. I have a 16 inch bar on it now. If you buy this, I get mine from Ace Hardware, from a local place here. This one is $180, and that doesn't include if you have like a military discount or anything like that. You can get 10% off, and then I have my timberland exemption, which means I don't have to pay state taxes on it. So it's right at exactly 180 minus 10% for me, because I use my veterans discount. But like I said, it's 8.6 pounds. This is a relatively light saw, and I use this for very small trees and mostly bucking limbs off trees that already fell. So it's really good for that. And of course, it's a Stihl, so it's good quality. It holds up, cranks right up, I mean, on a dime. I've used it a lot. I love this little saw. This is almost, I would say this is pretty much my go-to saw. I mean, for most of the stuff I do. It's just so light. I mean, you can almost wield it by the handle. You wouldn't want to do that, but I mean, you could if you had to reach out somewhere and get something real small and you just tap it off. But I mean, that 16-inch bar too, that's the biggest bar they recommend for it, and it works really good. This uses the green colored chain, which is what they call the home use, or a very light farm use. But man, a brand new chain on this thing with the 1.7 horsepower, it really just rips through anything you need it. It starts going. It does a real good job. Like I said, it's got a wrap handle, and I kick back. You know, it works good. So I mean, it's a really good saw. I recommend this for somebody that needs a saw for around the house, any light duty work, trees, limbs, small trees even. I mean, you can cut small trees up with this no problem. It's just one heck of a saw. So I recommend that for anybody that needs home use saw. And for 180 bucks, you can't beat it. I mean, it's a great saw. You notice I got the bar turned upside down because I've run this thing a bunch, and it was time to flip the bar. That's the only reason it's upside down. I just flipped it. It saves wear on the guide bar, on the guide in the bar from the chain. Makes it wear even. That's the only reason it's upside down. So that's MS170. It's a great saw. Also, make sure you put your chain covers on it. This is the MS291. This saw is 55.5 cc's, 3.7 horsepower, weighs 12.1 pounds, and it can run a 16 to 20 inch bar recommended from Stihl. This has got a 20-inch bar on it, green, home or farm use chain on it too. It's a great saw as well. This is my next saw when I have something slightly bigger that I need to get down a tree, a smaller tree, a small to medium-sized tree. This will take it down, no problem. You can plunge cut with this saw. That means take the blade and just stick it right in, plunge it. I wouldn't do that with the 170. It really doesn't have enough power to do something like that. But with 3.7 horsepower, this saw will get it done. This saw, brand new, without any discounts you might have or anything, is $469 with a 20-inch bar on it. And bars change the price, you know, relatively little, between a 20-inch, a 18-inch, a 16-inch, or a 12-inch. You know, maybe $10 down for each bar length going down. Again, I got it upside down. It was time to flip it. I changed chains, got a brand new chain on it. I've run a bunch of tanks of gas through this. Starts up every time. It's got a wrapped handle, and at 12.1 pounds, this thing is easy to handle and maneuver as well. Now you can't one hand this by any means. You definitely need to keep both hands on this saw. You really want to do that with any chainsaw, but you don't want to reach out with this one. It's just too heavy for that. You want to hold on to it. I'm actually thinking about getting me a battery operated Stihl with a 12-inch or a 10-inch little bar on it for reaching out to tapping limbs in the tree that you want to knock down. But this is a great little saw, and for 469 bucks, if you got bigger trees or medium, small to medium trees you want to knock down quick, knock the big branches off, and then drop down to the 170 to buck all the branches, knock them down so you can put them in a wood chipper. It's a great saw. Man, I can't talk enough about how good this little 291 is. So another great saw to have around on the ranch or around the house. If you got a lot of trees, you got a few acres and you got a lot of trees, it's a great saw to have. Really comes in handy when you got, like, we have a bunch of acreage at Twisted Pine, so it comes in real handy. Great saw. Again, I always put the cover on it. That chain will get you even if the saw ain't running. Now this is a new saw I just picked up. This is a 661. And this is a big boy. That's a new one. I'll tell you about this saw. I know immediately a lot of people will be looking at this saw thinking, Leslie, why do you need such a big saw? Well, we have some down trees that are 5 foot, 6 foot in diameter. Big round trees, and they're brought down by the excavator. I didn't cut them down with a saw. I may end up having to cut some down with a chainsaw, but right now I don't have any I really need to cut down. But I need to cut them up. I need to cut them into firewood, sized. I got some I'm gonna cut to go into blanks for a friend who's gonna turn them on a wood lathe. And then I got some I'm gonna cut up for a friend, and we're gonna take to him, and he's got a sawmill, and he's gonna saw them into tables. And you need to cut them nice cuts along the whole tree, not some jagged, cutout thing. So that's why I got this saw. And this saw is 91.1 cc's. It's 7.2 horsepower. It weighs 16.8 pounds, so it's not a light saw by any means. But it'll run, by Stihl's recommendations, it'll run a 16-inch bar, same as on my 170. I don't know why anybody would put a 16-inch bar on this thing. All the way up to a 36-inch bar, which is what is on this now. That's a 36. It's got little or no use on it. That's why the bar is upright. I just picked this saw up. Brand new from Ace, without any discounts or anything. This saw is $1,250. And I know you're thinking, Leslie, that's a lot of money for a saw, and it is. This saw will probably last my lifetime, and I'll probably end up leaving it to one of my kids. This is a professional logging saw. That 291 is not considered a professional logging saw, but it really is. It's just a great saw too. It doesn't have some of the qualities that a professional logging saw is, but if I was a professional logger, I'd buy that one and run it, and I definitely would buy this one. This is a really good saw. It's really big for a lot of people. If you don't have really big down trees, and you don't really need to make sure they have nice cuts on them for using for anything, and you just want to cut them up and burn them, that 291 with a 20-inch chain bar on it, you probably could get it cut up and boogered up till you could pick it up with something and drop it and break it. But if you need a nice smooth cut through it, this is a saw for that. It's really heavy though, and you need to really be careful and manhandle this with some strength. You're not going to ever want any of your kids to use it. You're not going to want anybody to use it, but grown men who have the fortitude to be able to hold it and wield it, because it's a big heavy saw that takes a lot of force to handle, and it's really heavy. But that blade will cut it. So that's all the 3 saws that I have. But I will tell you, there's one saw that I'm thinking about picking up later. Not anytime soon, because I just bit the bullet on this one. There's another saw. It's right under this saw. This isn't the biggest saw Stihl makes. Stihl makes one saw bigger. It's called an MS880, and it's even bigger than this one. And that saw, they say you can put pretty much any bar and chain they make on it. It'll run them all. But this saw will run this 36 on down, and probably could go up to a 38, maybe even a 40. I've heard of guys running a 40-inch bar on them. I mean, you get that big, you maybe putting it on a portable sawmill or something, I don't know. But there's another saw in between this one and the 291, or actually there's a few saws between it, but the one that I'm leaning toward to go between the 291 and the 661 is a 461, and it's 76.5 cc's, 6 horsepower, and it weighs 14.6 pounds. And it'll run anywhere between a 16-inch and a 32-inch bar. It retails for about $1,040 with a 32-inch bar on it. I'm gonna take it down, and I'm gonna go down to probably a 28-inch bar when I buy that one. So I'll have a 16-inch, a 20-inch, and then a 28-inch, and then that'll be on the 461, and then I'll have the 661 with a 36-inch, which will be all the bar and all the power I'd ever need. So, as for the performance, they're Stihl. I mean, I can sit here and talk all day. There's arguments between Stihl and Husqvarna, and I'm not going to badmouth Husqvarna by any means. There's lots of guys run them, and they're great saws too. I mean, it's just all depends on, you know, to me it depends on what dealer you have close by and who can service them and whatnot. But I've had these two saws for a long time, and I've never had a problem out of either one of them. These two saws I've run, I don't know how many tanks of fuel on them, changed the chain, a couple of chains on them, never had a problem. It starts up every time, and this one I'm sure will be the same way. So just get whatever dealer's closest to you. If you get a good deal on one, even better. Husqvarna and Stihl are both going to be great saws for you. I'm just a Stihl guy. I started out that way because I had a local dealer, and he impressed me with his little shop inside for maintenance, and they gave me a good price on them, so that's what I went with. And they haven't let me down yet, and I've got a bunch of trees cut with them, a bunch of land cut with them. So there you go. Hope that helped you out, maybe making a decision on what kind of chainsaw you need. Leave me any comments, like and subscribe. If you need any more information, put a little comment in there. If I can answer it, I will. If not, I can help you research it. There you go, from Twisted Pines. Man, that's a big old saw, ain't it? Y'all have a good one.